Deion Sanders
Coach
inked
Prime.
a big extension at Colorado. So any ideas of him going to Dallas, of him following his kid to the NFL, of him leaving that program mostly squashed as he inked a 5-year, $54 million contract extension that runs through the 2029 season. One of the highest paid coaches in the country, and that is going to be Sanders' base salary will now increase to $10 million, making the highest paid football coach in the Big 12 and the top 10 highest paid football coaches in the country.
Coach Prime. I love it. Keep him around college football. I think it's good. I think it's good for the sport.
Can the school afford it? Remember when they first hired him? They're like, I don't know if we'll be able to cut the check here.
Kyle, I got to say, and you're going to laugh at my source, an ex-girlfriend of mine, her dad is a big Colorado guy, and he's filthy rich. They got money. I know that program has money. I know
because
for a
your
fact,
ex-girlfriend's father has money?
Correct, and he is
so therefore
a booster.
The school has money.
And he is a booster. And Christian, I told you guys you would laugh, but Christian, he is a booster, and he has friends that are filthy rich like him that went to Colorado. They got the money. They'll be all right. And the next thing I was going to say, I think it's good for the Big 12. I think it's good for the Big 12 to have a brand like Prime stay in there. We talk so much about these conferences. Can the ACC get back to relevance with Clemson and or Miami? Can the Big 12 kind of get up there with the Big 10 and the SEC as well? I think this helps the Big 12. Prime's going to get recruits. Prime's going to have good teams. And I know they didn't go to the Big 12 championship, and Scat Boo and Arizona State represented the conference with pride. But I think that Prime could be a household name for the Big 12 to count on for the college football playoff for years to come.
Yeah, I think it's worth it in terms of what he brings to the school. He is somebody who is bigger than almost bigger than college football itself. He is the biggest name in college football. No Saban around. He's bigger than any player. He's bigger than any other coach. He's bigger than Ryan Day. He's bigger than all these guys.
And remember the ridiculous rumors of he's going to Dallas, he's going here, he's going there.
Never put any thought into that beginning because he's recruiting other players.
Yes, and I think that.
Well, I wonder how he'll change too. You know, all that stuff that they post about him, with his sons. His sons are involved in every little speech he gives.
Show your mama you watch.
Right. He's not going to have the kids there anymore. I wonder how he will change as a coach.
They got a big-time now, it's
Julian Lewis is the kid's name.
Yeah, they got a big-time prospect. It's not, the Michigan kid, the Tavion St. Clair for Ohio State, but it's a good prospect. Like, it's a good quarterback that could certainly turn into something and a high-profile recruit. So I think he answered the bell of, do you want to stay at Colorado? He's got a great recruiting class coming in, and now he inks in a deal and he could feel comfy.
Now, the one thing I'll say is you're not paying a coach $10 million just to get a couple them in Colorado State week 3 of the season to have a very good game on ESPN primetime and generate a 6 million viewership. That is not the reason that you pay any coach $10 million a year for a 5-year extension.
Right.
You're doing this so you can compete and you can continue to advance to the highest level of college football, and that is the playoff.
Yeah.
And whether the playoff expands or not, he is going to need to start putting some, you got Shador in there, you got Travis Hunter, his Heisman, they're both going to be top 5 picks. Great. That was a success story.
It was.
He brought Colorado back. Colorado's now here. I'm not going to say there's a ticking clock because there's not, but the brand stuff and them being a big name just for the big name, not for the great team, it's going to get old pretty fast.
It is. And Colin, now that he got paid, right? Now that he got paid.
All this is behind him.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to have results.
It's all just football.
It's now result-based.
Your kids are not there.
Agreed. And, there is an agenda there. As much as Christian and I were on the whole, there's an agenda. Remember, what was it, the Heisman conversation you disagreed with us on? I'm sorry, mate. I thought there was an agenda for Travis Hunter and his son to win the Heisman or whatever. To your point, that's gone. It's all about winning games. All of a sudden, if you win 8 games and miss out on the playoff, make it $10 million a year, then my ex-girlfriend's father is going to look and go, what the hell am I paying for? And then you're going to be in some trouble.
Well, yeah, we're going to learn a whole lot more about who Deion Sanders is as a college football coach when he can't bring his own son, who is a top 5 pick in the draft this year. We'll see how we can develop somebody else. I feel like that's still left to be proven. You bring Travis with him.
Go ahead, Christian. Sorry.
How he's going to develop him. Yeah, you can recruit him. We saw that. Now I want to see how he actually plays and schemes up and actually commands a team.
Yeah. He's lucky enough that he was able to be at Jackson State and get them a bit of a tune-up. And him and Hunter just get them feet wet in college football and kind of gradually increase it. Now, all of a sudden, for a freshman or whether they're going to start a sophomore, whatever they're going to do, you're going to have to figure this out quickly. You don't have the benefit of raising your quarterback for 20 years and making sure that he's going to be as top of the game. You're going to have to develop this kid, and it's not just him because he's a defensive guy. He's got an offensive staff, but this is going to reflect on you, how well this kid develops. And you're going to have a 2 or 3 year win, 2 years before if this kid, we're going to find out if this kid's any good or not.
And you mentioned the offensive coach, just like Pat Shurmur, offensive coordinator. He was a head coach in the NFL, wasn't a good head coach, but he was a good offensive coordinator in the NFL, and he's been a good coordinator at Colorado.
Terrible with the Giants.
Correct, and with the Browns, Cal. Jeez, oh man, don't even get me started there. I do trust him, though, to get a quarterback going and to get that program going. Honest to God, Colin, I'm rooting for Colorado. I'm rooting for Prime.
Now we're rooting for Colorado.
Now we are. I'm rooting for Prime. It's not that I wasn't. I just thought you get what I'm saying with the agenda stuff. The thing
There's
was
a reason that them in Colorado State were night prime time on ESPN. That was the reason.
I don't get the agenda stuff because, yes, Deion Sanders' agenda is going to get either his son or semi-adopted son the Heisman. That feels like a pretty Loctite agenda.
Let me explain. I don't think the agenda was to win games. The agenda was to get those kids drafted in the top 5. Now that he's gotten paid, I go back to what I said earlier. There's no excuse to not win games now. You're not trying to get your son to be a top-tier quarterback in the NFL, and you're not trying to get his best friend, Travis Hunter, who you sold to go to Jackson State, to be a top pick. All of that stuff is coming to fruition. It is specifically about winning football games. That's why I'm rooting for Colorado and Prime now. I think he's good for college football. You know I'm a college football nut. It's my favorite. It's good for college football, and I think it's good for a conference like the Big 12. Listen, as much as I'm a Big Ten guy, Colin, I want these other conferences to survive. I want to have rivalries. I want to have intra-conference rivalries. That doesn't happen if teams like Colorado aren't good in the Big 12. With all due respect to the operations that are going on there in Big 12, Colorado's the biggest name.
Yeah, if we're going to put a definition to how Deion Sanders' first couple of years went at Colorado, it would not be he is an elite football mind. It is he's an elite marketer. He's an elite. He knows how to find talent, and he knows how to market his teams. He turned Colorado into must-watch television, not because Colorado was a top 10 team in the country, but because Colorado was polarizing and interesting. Colorado was controversial. Colorado said things, they were something new, something different, a different taste, and it was fun. That is why he was great. He was a marketer, and he had great players. He had 2 elite players on the roster, and then he basically took that and master marketed his way up to the top.
Right.
When the team was nowhere near the top last year, or even the year before when they got killed against Oregon in that Week 4 game.
And there are levels to building a program. The first year, they won.
But that's the definition of his first 3 years.
It is.
Tenure,
it is.
2 years.
It is 2 years. And I was about to say, the first year you win 4 games. All right, you didn't win any games last year. It was success. You were in the national spotlight. College Game Day was in Boulder. It was great. This past year, you get a Heisman Trophy winner. You win 8 games. You go to a bowl game. Now it's time to take the next step, which in my opinion is the college football playoff. And
you don't pay somebody $10 million to not get that.
And competing for a Big 12 championship, a conference championship. Be in the game, Christian. Be in the conference championship game. Be in the conversation.
So, Colin, what I'm hearing from you is Colorado can't just become an NFL factory. It can't just be getting guys drafted. That cannot be the Coach Cal of the college football world. He needs to be winning games.
I would say,
but
yes.
Justice for Calipari. 6 Final Fours, a national championship, and a Sweet 16 this year, guys. Come on.
But I'm talking about the last 7 or 8 years. Last 6 or 7 years. That is what he has been. Have they been better at providing talent or winning games?
All right. It's hard.
That's fair.
It's fair, but I think, Christian, I like the question, but I think it's different on a number of levels. I think it's different because football, there are only 12 teams that get in. Calipari had a lot more chances to go deeper and to get into the tournament. It's harder to get into this.
Calipari was hyper successful when the one-and-dones was the new wave of college basketball. And then once it kind of shifted out of that and transfers became the new and experience became the new, I guess, the golden star of college basketball, Calipari made the conscious decision to not really abide by that and was still going to – he said it the other day. He said it 2 days ago, how these freshmen deserve scholarships. He was talking about how 5-star freshmen still deserve to be on teams. He says that because the truth is in the pudding that the freshmen can't get you to the promised land, but these freshmen can still get drafted because they're still great players, and he's the one-and-done factory. But I'm not saying that's the same thing as Colorado. I'm just saying paying it $10 million, it's a little different. in the college basketball side of things.